hello there. Welcome to the Dirty Mind Podcast. My name is Dirt, hence the name. Today we're talking about something pretty awesome, pretty exciting. At first glance, you may think Frostpunk. What's up with that? Is that a new type of genre of music that is only played during the winter? No, it's a video game, of course. If it's going to be me, it's either going to be a video game or something related to Fig Newtons. So we're talking about Frostpunk 1, not Frostpunk 2. Frostpunk 2 just came out, actually, not too long ago. But when I looked at it, I was like, oh my goodness, I don't even know what that is, but I like the cover art. And I looked at the first game and the reviews and the fact that it was like $3.99 on Steam for a week. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and snag that. I'm just going to take that. I'm going to relocate it into my little library. Thank you very much. And started playing it. And oh, you better believe some things changed in my mental chemistry up there in the brain box. Anywho, we'll get to all of that and why I'm so obsessed with it currently. But first and foremost, it's time for everybody's favorite segment, Old News.
I got nothing new for you.
Get ready, everybody, because the Game Boy Advance SP is coming out pretty soon. Now, this is a crazy one. We all know that the Game Boy Advance took the Game Boy and said, what if we advance it a little? And that was pretty cool. It had different games. This one is sort of like the Game Boy Color version of the Game Boy Pocket, where it's the same games, more or less. The cartridge is the same. But instead of saying, hey, let's add color, this time we say, hey, what if we add a little lever in the middle, where a pendulum? What is it? Where you can rotate it. It flips. The thing flips, okay? The screen flips out, and you can close it, and it looks like a wallet, only it doesn't actually look like a wallet. But that's pretty much, that's it. That's the big leap. It's pretty cool, though, okay? Because all of the other previous models of the Game Boy, you see, the screen is always exposed, but not with the SP, which stands for Sudden Pigs, I think, because you flip it and then all the pigs just get riled up. And they just, they're magnetically attracted to wherever you are. The pigs really enjoy the SP. So in this one, you got the screen is protected by the rest of the Game Boy, the other half of the Game Boy. So you fold it down and then you're completely protected. With the screen, you don't have to worry about your cats jumping onto the Game Boy, scratching it up when they're playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's a good time. And here's the thing. I need everybody to just calm down for a second, because this is going to be a bit of a hit to your ego and your wallet and your bank accounts with the high interest rates. So the Game Boy Advance SP is going to cost $99. I know that's kind of a lot of money. That's up there. That's pretty close to 3 digits of numbers. I mean, it's more than that if you include the cents. You got the period and then 00 at the end. Or maybe it's 99.99. That I'm not sure of. But let's just look at those first digits before you get to the cent digits. It's just 99. It's as high as you can go before it gets into 3 digits, which would be astronomical for something like this. But I think it's worth it. I think it's going to be worth it when it comes out pretty soon. Pretty soon. Look forward to the Game Boy Advance SP, $99, but I'll give you 99 reasons to play it. And all 99 of those reasons are the fact that it flips. It's pretty cool. You can still play the same Game Boy Advance games. Maybe there's going to be some new ones. Probably. I don't know. It's not like a brand new console, but it's cool. You should, once you get it, you should throw out the other ones or give them to me to safe keep for like 10, 15 years so that I can sell it for a crazy amount later on. But that's neither here nor there. The Game Boy Advance SP, $99. Keep a lookout, keep an eye peeled. Peel that eye, peel it just like a carrot, and then you'll get it, and that'll be that. Okay, bye. Welcome back. Well, here we go. This is where we're going to talk about Frostpunk. I hope you remember, it was kind of a long time ago. It was like 5 minutes ago, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I was talking about Frostpunk 1 specifically. And in Frostpunk, it's, I don't even know where to start. There's just so many things that expanded my mind and the way that I view snow somehow and politics. It's something. So let's start at the very beginning. When I first thought to myself, hey, maybe I'll spend my hard-earned money on a game called Frostpunk, I was thinking, all right, what are the similarities here? Obviously, cyberpunk. They both have the word punk in them, so there's got to be some similarities there. And then also, that's probably it. But beyond that, looking at the cover art and all that, I was seeing that there's a whole lot of winter-related things, and I don't usually go for winter-related things other than in video games. When it comes to video games, yeah, for sure, throw all of the snow you got at me, because I can actually feel the cold for the most part in a video game, and that's great. That's how I like to live vicariously, with a video game exposing me to the winter elements as much as possible, because I get the real life winter when that happens, and that's fine. I'll deal with that. I'll do a little bit of snowboarding, just a teeny amount, and it's okay. It's acceptable. But if I really want to experience the full array of winter wonderland goodness, I prefer to do it in a video game. So I was all right with that. So Frostpunk, the story is there's basically an apocalyptic winter that has just destroyed everything, including some igloos. It's that cold that even igloos are not around anymore. Or at least I haven't seen any igloos, which is kind of strange. Like maybe one day I'll be able to see some. But I've been playing for like 40-something hours. I haven't seen a single igloo. But what do you actually do in the game? You may be wondering. And I guess this is for those who haven't played it, or who have played it but want to experience it through the eyes of a pig. So, what do? It's sort of a real-time strategy city builder, I would say is a good description. So you've got this generator, and the generator generates power. See, that's where they get the name from it, generate. It generates the power, and it generates more than just normal power from electricity stuff. So you get the coal. There's a lot of resources around coal, steel, wood, human labor. And you put the coal into the generator. Generator provides heat, it provides security, but it's more than just that power. It's also like real power, like the raw power, the kind of power that makes you feel like you can do anything. You can tell somebody, hey, make me a bowl of ramen, and then they go and they make you a bowl of ramen. And you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, is my name Morpheus? How did I do that? How did I get someone to do something for me just by using my voice? Well, it's not just your voice. It's the power. It's the power of the generator. That's why everybody has to have a nice, good backup generator that they stole from the local Walmart. Anywho, what are you doing throughout the game? Well, there's people in this game. If you can believe that, there's people. And you're creating a city with these people, supposedly the last city on Earth, which is kind of a lot of pressure to make it pretty cool. But here's the thing, you don't need to worry about any sort of public transportation system. You don't, for the most part, need to worry about schools, which is cool. Roads, you do have to worry about a little bit, but if you look closely, most of the roads are just sort of like wooden planks sitting on other wooden planks sitting on mud. So it doesn't really take that much effort or resources to make the roads. So don't even struggle with that. Don't even worry about the roads. Okay, the roads are not a big deal. Let's not dwell on the roads. Okay? And I'm kind of sick and tired of talking about the roads. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and stop talking about the roads. You see, the thing about the roads is that they don't need to be everywhere. And you may think to yourself, but what if I need the roads to be everywhere? Well, this is dirt coming at you from a closet filled with sound-absorbing panels. Listen, the roads don't need to be everywhere. You don't need to have the roads everywhere. You just need to build a building that's connected in any way, shape, or form to a road. And it doesn't have to be all along the longitudinal longitude or the latitudinal longitude. It can just be right at the corner and connect no more than like 4 centimeters. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with the metric system, you rely more on imperial. Centimeters are smaller than inches. So around 10 centimeters is 1 inch, I think. Maybe 8 centimeters? Hold on, let's figure this out. Okay, so 1 centimeter is equal to 0.39 inches. So if we have 1 inch, it's 2.54 centimeters. Okay, so I was a little bit off with that original assumption that it was 10 centimeters to an inch. That was slightly different. So actually that brings about some different comparisons there. I guess you would only need like 1 centimeter of connection between the road and the building that you're building with the building materials. So that's interesting. Not that it really matters, not that you need to know it, because you have on the UI, there will be a little green glowy that says, hey, this road is connected to that building. Good job. I'm so proud of you. Take $4 out of petty cash. And that's always nice to have. So you don't need to worry about that nitty-gritty stuff. You don't need to worry about the centimeters. You don't even need to talk about centimeters or inches at all. So, yeah, just relax, okay? I feel like you're stressing out about this, and there's no reason to be stressing out about it. Speaking of stress, I was looking at my dog the other day, and he just seemed to be tweaking in a way that made me really concerned. So he was looking at me, right, with his eyes, and also with his ears. His ears were facing me. See, this one particular dog has pretty pointy ears. The types of ears where you're like, if you need to cut some cheese up, but you don't have any knives, you're like, oh, well, let me just borrow Cooper's ears. Just come over here. You just lift the dog up onto the counter and then lean his head to the side and then whoop, slice. That sharp cheddar cheese is done for because it's just completely destroyed because he ate all of it because his ears weren't actually sharp enough to cut it. And the dog is a dog and smelled cheese and consumed it. And now no more grilled cheese for old Dirt. I guess I still have the tomato soup. I can just cook up the tomato soup, just drink tomato soup, and I guess that's my lunch. No grilled cheese. Not that grilled cheese is actually that good of a lunch for you when you boil it down, because it's just it's bread and cheese. You got a lot of dairy, and then you got the bread, the grain. There's not much else filling you. I mean, there's protein in cheese, right? I think. So that's something, I suppose, but you don't want to be loading yourself up with dairy products like that. What do tomatoes bring to the table, right? It's just a little vegetable. It's a liquefied veg. You got the vegetable and you put it on the counter. You grab the largest mallet that you have at your disposal. You squash it and you say, that works for me. and you get some lime juice, I assume, maybe lemon juice. You combine that a little bit. You put some sugar, a lot of water, because you got to dilute it. Too much tomatoes, just straight up tomatoes that are just staring you in the face with nothing in between. There's none of that bulletproof glass like when you visit your uncle at the penitentiary. Nothing like that. It's just the tomato just staring straight at your soul. That could be too much. They have this intensity, right, that it sort of rivals a pineapple before it's all sliced apart, where you just look at it and you're thinking, that can hurt me. That can and might hurt me. If it wants to, if it has a reason to, that's probably going to hurt me. That's something to know. That's something to think about. So you got to dilute those tomatoes as best you can somehow, some way. But that's really the bulk of it, of what you're getting from the soup is just tomato, whatever that is, whatever's in it, that's what you got. So you'd think you would need something else for a meal. What do you even need for a meal? What's the point of eating when you have to eat other things too? There's not really, I feel like there's not really one thing that you can eat where it's everything. It's everything you would need, other than a food that combines other foods, like a stew of sort, where it combines other things, where it's multiple of the foods. Like, I want a food where I can just walk into the backyard, go up to a bush or a tree, grab a food, a singular food, just one of the food, consume that, and then boom, I'm done for that entire meal. I would enjoy that, because I need sort of a buffer period in between the meals. Sometimes 3 meals a day, it's too many. It's too much planning required on my part. Now, it's actually pretty nice for me when it comes to breakfast, because I've been having the same breakfast for a really long time. I have toast with peanut butter and honey, and it's just, that's it. That's my breakfast. And it works. And so far, I haven't gotten tired of it. It's been a couple of years. I haven't gotten tired of it. So that's great. And I don't have to think about it. I don't have to be stressing in the early wee hours of the morning thinking, oh, goodness golly, what am I going to do for breakfast? I need that nourishment in the morning. I need something that's going to sustain me and bring me back to the world of the living from a dead sleep, right, where I'm unconscious. I need something to really spur me awake. What am I going to do? But now I got the toast with the peanut butter and the honey, and that's great, so I don't have to worry about that meal. But then there's 2 other meals left that I got to think about. And sometimes it's obvious. I'm obviously going to do shrimp fried rice, of course. I'm obviously going to do ramen with kimchi and gochujang, obviously, duh. I'm obviously going to do an absolute classic steak and potatoes. Right? It's just duh. But here's the thing. There's more than 3 days in the week, and there's 2 of these meals that I got to worry about per day. And if you think about that, when you combine that with math, that's so many of the numbers that I got to worry about. Gee, will occurs. I'm not okay with that. I need something to help me out. Sometimes I just wish there was a default food that I could eat. If it tasted like a potato, that would be great. If it tasted like a pineapple, that would be amazing. Maybe a blood orange, something like that. That would be wonderful. But I need something that gives me all of the things that I need right then and there. No questions asked. No ifs, ands, ors, or buts. Okay? We'll get there one day, I think. That's where technology is sort of failing us. We're all focused on AI, making it easier to remove watermarks from stock images. No. We need AI to figure out how to make us a food that has all of the best elements of the food in one food. Mark my words. You can Matthew my words as well. I'm okay if you Kevin my words, but I prefer the marking of the words. Anyway, so Frostpunk is a pretty cool game. What you're really trying to do is you're taking your resources and collecting them as quick as you can and build up your city. Oftentimes, it depends on which storyline you're starting out with or if you're doing an endless mode, but you may or may not have nothing to start with. There's this one pretty cool, interesting situation where you have sort of the remnants of a city with the generator in the middle, and half of the city got burned. There was a revolution. It was very French-like. Oui. And half of the city got burned up, and so you got to dismantle that because it's just a health hazard. We don't want the inspectors coming around and being like, oh, that looks awful. That's going to crumple. That's going to hurt somebody. They're going to get trapped under it. And actually, that does happen. There are people who get trapped under the rubble, and you have to make the decision, do we rescue them or do we just say, they're probably too far gone. They're making a bunch of noise. Let's just walk to the other side of the city and forget about them. Not that I've ever done that, and I haven't. I have not done that, and I wouldn't do that. I always save them. I always save as much of the peoples as I can. But that's part of the interesting strategy, is that you got to build up your city so that there's houses and tents and medical posts and research facilities to learn more things to do and better ways to gather resources instead of just walking up to a pile of wood and saying, let me just lift up this piece of wood and then move it to another location. Nah, we got sawmills and we got things that burrow into the side of the ice walls surrounding your city. And then coal thumpers that thump up coal like that, like the rabbit from, what was the movie, Bambi, where he's just like thump, 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 thump. I'm a rabbit. I'm a little rabbit. Look at me hopping around. I'm a little rabbit. You know that scene. Everybody loves that scene. Everyone loves that movie in general. So you got all that good stuff. But really, I think some of the most interesting stuff is what comes from outside of the city and sort of messes with your plan. So in one particular storyline, you've got these really angry sort of elites, wealthy elite. Now, remember, this is an apocalyptic winter. So no one is above anyone else at this point. Everybody's sort of on an even keel where they're just really super cold and their socks are not possibly warm enough because they need to have so many layers for it to make sense. And hold on, I just got a really important email because somebody said that that I've won something. Oh my goodness, I've won a gift card? I want a gift card to Kmart? I gotta respond to this, my goodness. I'll be right back. Okay, well, I responded to that email and I gave them all my information. So looking forward to that $50 gift card for Kmart. That's gonna really come in handy. They got some pretty soft toilet paper. Anywho, what are we talking about? Oh, yeah, guess what? It's time for something else other than what we were doing previously. It's time for our sponsored segment from a real sponsor that definitely exists. Here we go. Are you tired with the fact that all of your salad dressing tastes like it's healthy? Well, don't worry about that anymore because that worry is done and doesn't need to be worried about anymore. Introducing cookie-flavored salad dressing. It's a salad dressing that's flavored like cookies. And I know what you're thinking, there's a lot of different flavors of cookies. Which one is it? Guess what, dum-dum? It's all of them. It's all of the cookies, okay? Don't be so stressed out about the fact that you don't know which of the cookies it is. I'm sorry I called you dumb. You're not dumb. You're super smart. I love you. I'm sorry about that. I felt instant guilt, instant regret from that. But yeah, there's so many cookies. There's so many flavors of cookies. And we got all of them. We got oatmeal raisin. We got chocolate chunk. We got double chocolate chunk. We got snickerdoodle. We got every type of cookie you could possibly imagine. We got that in a salad dressing. And some folk might be thinking, why? Why would you do that? Why would you put cookie flavors into a salad dressing? Well, here's the thing. When you're eating a salad, you know what it is? It's like lettuce, and it's kale, and it's spinach, and it's other things that are weird and green. But now you can also integrate that with the flavors of something that is so pure and delicious, and that is of the cookie. So we got the cookies, we got the salad, you get to have something, somewhat healthy, and then you get to have the flavors of the cookie. Why wouldn't you want to combine those? The best of both worlds, come on. It's just like when you get a crossbow and you take the crossbow and you go to the paintball club and you put a bunch of paint on the end of the crossbow and you're like, this works, right? And everybody starts running away from you and you win by default. That's what we're doing here. We're combining some great things with other great things. Well, I think that's not the best analogy because we're combining salad with a great thing. So we're combining a mediocre thing with a great thing. So it's like we're taking a pool floaty and we're combining that with some disgusting swamp water. So yeah, it's still some disgusting swamp water, but at least you have a really cool pool floaty that looks like a unicorn. Hey, it's something. It makes it better. It does make it better. It makes it better. It's better than not having it. Try cookie-flavored salad dressing today. There's so many different options. You can taste it. You can eat it. It's something. Hey, it exists. So why not? Woo-wee, I can't wait to try all of those cookie-flavored salad dressings. I'm definitely going to go for the ginger snaps pretty quickly. So yes, Frostpunk, what's up with that? Why are you so obsessed with the dirt? Okay, you've talked a little bit about what it's about and what you do, but why are you so obsessed with it? Well, I think one of the things that really reeled me in was the fact that it's not just about the resources, about steel and wood and coal, and the cold being super cold. Why is it cold all the time? But it's also people. You got these humans that are roaming the Frostland, and you are the one who has to make the decision of, do we bring them in? Do we say, hey, come this way. It's warm over here. There's a lot of tents, and we have some pretty nice downy pillow what is it? The blanket, the for mattress, top of mattress, blanket, top of mattress, quilt, down. Isn't the word down associated with quilts somehow, some way? Well, anyway, we got those. Bring it in, bring it on in. And you can tell those humans, hey, come and join our ranks. Or you can say, hey, we're over here. If you wanna stop by, you can. I'm not going to tell you exactly where it is, but it's in this general direction. And some people might die on their way there. Some might not. And hey, whatever. It is what it is. Or you can be like, nah, you're good. You have this turned over vehicle that you're cowering under with a small flickering candle to keep you warm in this negative 40 degrees Celsius weather. You're fine. You'll figure it out. So you get to make those choices of whether or not you bring in more humans. And every time you do or don't, it's a big deal because you're affecting the hope and the discontent of your populace. So some might be like, hey, Mr. Commander Dirt there, bud. I've got some friends and family who are in this other little village. Can you go rescue them real quick? And by the way, there's like 200 of them. Just go and rescue them real quick. And if you say no, then they're going to be like, well, I'm upset now, and I'm just going to go and kick up some mud, and I'm gonna make the roads a little more muddy. And I'm gonna run over and I'm gonna step on everybody's doorstop and make the doorstops super muddy, and everyone's gonna be like, "Gosh, why is there's mud everywhere? I don't like that's sort of annoying, kind of." And you want to avoid that as much as possible. And if you say, yeah, I will rescue them, sometimes, guess what? That might have some bad benefits, bad reactions, because then you could be, let's say you have like a population in your city of like 120, and then you're instantly grabbing 60 more people. Well, that's an increase of 50%. That's a big, big deal. And what if you don't have enough houses built? Then there's going to be just 60 homeless. And that's not nice. That's not nice. That's not nice. It's not nice. That's not nice. That's not nice. And what if half of them are sick as well, but you don't have any open medical posts because everybody has frostbitten toes? And then what happens there? They just get sick, and then they become gravely ill, and then amputations are required, and then there's a bunch of deaths, and they need to go to the cemetery, but you haven't built a cemetery yet, and everybody's hope starts to fall, and there's not enough room for everybody to go, and you don't have anything built yet, and no one is able to work because they're either already at the coal fields, or they're sick in bed, or they're trying to go out and hunt, but everyone's distracting them, being like, hey, why are you using that bow? It doesn't look like a good bow. You should use a spear instead. And you're like, I'm not good with a spear. You got to be so close to the animals when I use a spear. I'm not good at the confrontation. I don't like to see the whites of their eyes. I like to stay further back. That's why I like the bow. Why you gotta mess with me like that? I like to use the bow. The bow looks cool. It makes a funny noise when I pull the string back. It's like blah, 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 blah. That's pretty cool. Prefer that. That's better. So you got all these issues that you gotta worry about, and on top of that, there are storms, and these storms are pretty brutal. When the storms hit, it drops like another 30 degrees Celsius. And so you can be staring down negative 90-degree temperature. It's awful. And there will be a lot of facilities and buildings that you make that won't work at all. Like for making food, nope, forget about it. Everything is off limits. You can't do anything in there. It's all frozen. It's not happening. It's frozen, and that one is frozen too. It's crazy. Good stuff. Well, it's not good stuff. So you got to be prepared beforehand. You got to have enough food for everyone to get through it. And sometimes these storms only last a day. Sometimes they last 6 days? And that's crazy. You got to have enough food. You got to have way more fuel than usual because you're going to be bumping up the power on the generator to provide more heat because it's so cold outside. Everybody's going to be like, gosh, I have to bust out my fancy coat with the fur lining. I only like using this on special occasions, like when we have the Christmas time ball where everybody gets up and they dance. And this one guy named Keith, he's always carrying around the mistletoe, and it's like, yeah, that's very funny, Keith. Please don't lift that above us as you get really close to me, Keith. Stop it. I've talked to you about this, Keith. Go away. And then you karate chop him in the neck. So that happens. So yeah, there's just so much to worry about, and you get to customize the difficulty. So if the weather is your biggest enemy, just drop that down a little bit, and everything else will just fall into place. That's what I would suggest. And there's a lot of different story elements that come around to it. Like in one little story scenario, you have to protect these seeds that are really important for the future of the planet when ideally the planet warms up a little bit at some point. It stops being so bitter cold and maybe has a little bit of warmth to it again. Who knows? Maybe. So you got to protect these seeds more than anyone else, and you have to make these decisions of, all right, do I prioritize these seeds, or do I prioritize actual living human beings that are around us, and we have to go to this other city that's going to be dead pretty soon if we don't go and help. So you got these moral quandaries that you got to ponder all the time, and it's pretty awesome. I love being able to decide the fate of an entire city, and you get to choose whether or not you run it with an iron fist, or are you a little more lackadaisical and you just go, maybe you guys need to take a break from work. Yeah, that's fine. No, you don't want to work a 24-hour shift? That's fine. Whatever. Que sera, sera. You get to make those choices. You get to make those decisions. You get to be the one on top who says, hey, stop it, knock it off, get over here. I'm gonna kick you right in the shin, but at a very slow speed. You're still gonna be in a crazy amount of pain for how weak it seemed my kick was, but hey, it's the shin, so it's like the Achilles heel of the upper lower below of the knee. That's what I've been told, at least. All right, before we conclude, we got some real important stuff, including the lucky color. Today's lucky color is jam, Jam, like jam, not jelly, jam. It's a preservative. It's prepared a different way than jelly, so don't call it jelly because they get really mad about that. So jam is this really nice deep red. It's just a quality, comforting color. You can see it in so many different things, mostly in jam. I think that's why the name is jam. So anyway, the hex code is 60100B. All right, 60100B. It's a real nice quality color. I enjoy it. I don't use it very often because I feel like it's just so specific of a color. You don't want to just be throwing that anywhere. You got to have a specific purpose for it. Jam is important. Jam deserves the world. So look out for jam. It's so lucky. And I've got a quote for you to wrap up, and hopefully it rings true for everyone. So here we go. No one knows the future. Only some of us know the past. So why not worry less about the present and focus on typing fast? What? Oh, I remember. Okay. Focus on typing fast. Yeah. So it was sort of like a slogan for this website that helps you type quicker. And it also measures your words per minute and all of that. So I just sort of looked at the first part and then copied and pasted the whole thing. I think it still works. If you like typing fast, then this should be some good inspiration about time and space and hitting buttons on a keyboard. Anyway, if you like strategy games and city builders, you gotta check out Frostpunk. It's a good time. It's a real good time. Highly recommend. And for the rest of you, get that Game Boy Advance SP when it comes out. $99. I think it's going to be worth it. All right, enjoy everything that life has to provide except for the things that life has to provide that are not enjoyable. Or maybe enjoy those more. And then life will go, what? You weren't supposed to enjoy that? And you're like, haha, take that, life. You don't know nothing about me and my capabilities. My power is more important than the electricity for this. Bye.